Inflation hitting every American in every city, but now a new problem is emerging in some cities where budget cuts and staffing shortages means it's more dangerous to get emergency help. Many police departments around the country are taking longer to respond to 911 calls. And joining us right now to break down just a snapshot of one of those cities is the Deputy Policy Editor of OpenTheBooks.com, Rachel O'Brien. Good morning, Rachel. I know you looked at Nashville, Tennessee as an example because that city has an alarmingly high response time to 911 calls. Tell us what you found there.
Yeah, so in 2022, that's the latest data available, Metro Nashville PD took an average 74 minutes to respond to calls. And that's 16 minutes longer than the year before. It's almost 30 minutes longer than in 2019 before the pandemic. So for emergency calls, like someone having been shot, that took 15 minutes to respond to. Urgent calls, like a burglary, that took 64 minutes. Routine calls, like property damage, that took 130 minutes to respond to. Calls for domestic disturbance in 2019, that already took over 42 minutes. Now it's up to 70 minutes for domestic disturbance. So this comes from a recent report prepared at the request of the Metro Nashville Community Oversight Board. They're looking to see what they can do to help the police department function better.
Why is it taking so long for the police to respond? I mean, you're talking in some cases, I mean, even just for routine calls, it's almost 2 hours just for a routine call. But when you look at something like an emergency call, that is the difference between life and death. Why is it taking so long?
Absolutely. Yeah, people could certainly be dying in that time. So there are several factors at play, and some can be found in other departments as well. This isn't just a Nashville problem, but it's highlighted in Nashville because the numbers are so high. So when an officer travel time has increased slightly. So it was 13 minutes on average in 2019. It was 16 minutes on average in 2022. Really, the increase in overall call response time is largely driven by the caller's average time in queue. They're waiting a long time to speak to somebody. The average time in queue was 31 minutes in 2019. It almost doubled to 57 minutes in 2022. So dispatch is taking a long time. It may also be that dispatch is waiting for officers to be available to respond to a call. Like other departments, Nashville's understaffed rather in both officers and civilian positions. They can't recruit enough people. Yeah. They do pay well. They have a generous pay benefit and pension package. They just can't seem to get enough people.
And you mentioned that this is not exclusive only to Nashville. So how does it compare against other major cities?
Yeah, so this looked at 14 other departments that published their call data with enough information to calculate these response times. Not all departments do. We've asked for many departments to send us their data, and they send us oftentimes data we really can't use. So this long response time is more widespread than just these 15 cities. So of the 15 here, New Orleans and San Francisco are the only two cities that have a longer response time than Nashville. New Orleans took an average for wait till you hear this, 2.5 hours to respond in New Orleans. People have left the scene. People have died if they've been shot. San Francisco took 79 minutes. So these are just astronomical amounts of time in emergency. The other dozen cities, they don't take nearly as long to respond. 7 cities took under 30 minutes to respond. Mesa, Arizona had the shortest time at 9. You still have Seattle's over an hour, Sacramento's over an hour. New York City, with the largest police department in the country, they took 33 minutes on average. Boise, Idaho, 22 minutes. So these aren't the highest, but they are still very long in an emergency.
Yeah, and we've run out of time, unfortunately, but this also affects how these crimes are reported because more often than not, these victims don't want to report these crimes because they've just waited so long. And so this leads to a whole host of other issues with these police departments and also with these crimes getting solved. Deputy Policy Editor of OpenTheBooks.com, Rachel O'Brien. Great to see you this morning. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.